Good morning, everyone. How nice to see you all, although it is just virtually. But at this special time, after we all have been physically isolated for almost 3 months, it is still very exciting that we could have this online gathering. I hope you all are healthy and safe and are coping well with this challenging time. Next slide, please. So I want to start my presentation by sharing two pictures that I took before. The first one is a group picture of the volunteers at the Nanjing Museum in China, the museum I have worked at. They were affectionately called by the visitors and also by all our staff members, the Nanjing Museum Blue, as they are all wearing the blue vests when they are on duty. And they serve various duties at the museum as docents, as guides, as consultants, making great contribution to the museum. Next, please. The second one is a picture of me with other docents at the High Museum of Art in Atlanta. After I quit my job at the Nanjing Museum, I joined my husband in Atlanta. And the way I chose for myself to continue my love and passion for museums was to volunteer as a docent at the High Museum and become a member of this group, a wonderful group. Besides giving the tours at the museum, we would also gather outside of the museum, organizing events and programs related to art, kind of similar to what you are doing here. Next, please. And of course, I understand neither the volunteer group at the Nanjing Museum in China, nor the docent group at the High Museum in Atlanta is the same as you, the associates of AGGV. I hope you don't mind that I took a snapshot from the happenings. It is really impressive that how much you have been involved in the development of the gallery. I have been told of the great work you have done to the gallery in fundraising and also in connecting the gallery with its communities, and how you have helped the gallery through those hard times. It is just fascinating. But more fascinating is you have carried on this tradition over the decades and made it a part of the gallery's identity, which itself is a demonstration of the gallery's success in community engagement. I think all the members at the gallery are very proud of this. Next, please. As Bev has mentioned, we are currently putting on a new exhibition of Asian art at the gallery, which is going to be ready for the public later this month. But to be frank with you, this exhibition is not a planned one. As you all know that the gallery has been expecting a building project, which kind of tied our hands in terms of putting on new exhibitions, as many of the collections have been packed and the gallery space would be occupied once the building project starts. But then the pandemic came, followed by the closure. This is a picture I took some days ago. While the pandemic has brought destructions to the museums and the art field, it also, in a way, reveals the role of art and museums as a healer during difficult times. So we decided to fill in the gallery with something new, so that when our visitors come back after the lockdown, they would have something nice to see. Next, please. The AGGV has, since its founding, been devoted to building a fine Asian art collection, thanks to our great and dedicated patrons who either donate their own collections to us or give the funds for us to buy works of art. The Asian art collection at the AGGV now has grown into one of the finest in Canada. encompassing all aspects and periods of Asian art. So Barry and the other predecessors have really done a magnificent job. Congratulations, Barry. Since 2015, the gallery has acquired over 1,000 items, which haven't got a chance to be shown. So Barry and I have been working together to come up with this exhibition, trying to give our audience a glimpse of the variety and the diversity of these new acquisitions. Next, please. Currently, we are still installing it, but I can give you a sneak peek today. These are two pictures I took yesterday at the gallery. As you can see from the left picture, which doesn't look very nice now because it's just a mock-up, and the final product will look much better, I can assure you. The exhibition title is Collecting and Connecting. I think Bev has interpreted it in a very nice way. So through this title, we want to send two messages. A, we are collecting, which is one of the main duties of a museum. B, we are collecting not for hiding these collections in our vault, but we are also trying to connect them with people, with you, with our community. So this exhibition will show over 160 objects and works of art, including snuff bottles, ceramics, Japanese prints, Buddha statues, paintings, seal stones, and others. Of course, due to space limits, we are not able to show all of the new acquisitions this time, but the items that haven't been included in this exhibition will be shown through our various other exhibitions in the future. So today, I select two items from the exhibition to share with you. The first one is a large statue of Hao Dai, which was acquired last year, a gift from Tony Emery. It will be placed in front of the title wall on this very nice dark blue base beside the title. Hao Dai is a Japanese pronunciation. In Chinese, it is called Bu Dai. Both mean cloth sack or cloth bags. Hao Dai or Bu Dai was believed to be a Buddhist monk living in China during the 10th century. He is always carrying a cloth bag, which is filled with many precious things and never gets empty. That is how he gets his name. In the 14th century, Hao Dai became a legendary figure in Japan and has been regarded as one of Japan's 7 lucky gods. He is often depicted as a cheerful, contented figure with a large exposed belly, as you can see here. So he's also known as the Fat Buddha or the Laughing Buddha. We choose this statue to be the frontline object, or say the cover object, positioned at the entrance of the exhibition due to its symbolic meanings. First, his smiling face delivers a sense of optimism, which is what we all need at this time, challenged by COVID-19. Second, his big belly is also a symbol of tolerance and inclusiveness. As a big belly, it's called 大度 in Chinese, has the same pronunciation as 大度, tolerance. So which I think is especially meaningful as we are now seeking for equality and solidarity at this time. Next, please. Another item from this exhibition that I would like to introduce today is a rendition work of a copy of Wang Wei's Wang Chai filler painting. As you can see from the picture, it includes 2 Japanese-styled 6-panel screens, each affixed to a back panel. It looks like they were originally sections of a hand scroll, but was later remounted as a small folding screen, which was later again remounted to be rigidly flat as 2 panels so that they could hang on the wall. The 2 panels were bought by Julius Pett in 1960s in San Francisco, then were given to Catherine and Robbie Liscombe as a gift in 2000, who donated to the gallery last year in memory of Dr. Julius Pett. The Wang Chai Villa painting is one of the most revered landscapes in Chinese history. It was made by Wang Wei, a poet and a landscape painting from the 8th century of China, which was the Tang Dynasty. Wang Wei is one of the most well-known poets in China that almost everyone in the country could recite a few poems by him. Wang Chai Villa was Wang Wei's private garden, located on the outskirts of Chang'an, the then capital of China, today's Xi'an. Probably some of you who have visited Xi'an. This garden, Wang Chai Garden, is one of the most famous gardens of ancient China and was the retreat of Wang Wei. He wrote 20 poems describing the points of interest in the garden, and he also illustrated the poetic mood of each site in a painting on the wall of a temple. The original painting has long been lost, but its imagery, as well as Wang Wei's idea of painting in poetry and poetry in painting, has been preserved in generations of copies. Next, please. Of these copies, there are some which are believed to be made by Guo Zhongshu, also a well-known painter who lived in the 10th century of China, which is about 200 years later than Wang Wei's time. Here is one of the versions that are claimed to be made by Guo Zhongshu, a collection at the Taipei Palace Museum. It is a 5-meter-long hand scroll, so it is not possible for us to see now with a full view, which served as you can see the lower part of the image, which shows a section of it, may gives us some sense of the painting. From this version, if it is truly made by Guo Zhongshu, a stone engraving was made in 1617, which served as a most important source for late copies of this legendary painting. Next, please. As you can see here, the left image shows one section of that engraving made in 1617. Our version, the 2-panel rendition work, is believed to be a copy of this 1617 engraving. The right image shows one section of the work we have at the gallery. Now we can have a look at the comparison of them. They are quite, it's quite convincing that our work is a copy of the engraving from 1617. Although it is not the original work by Wang Wei, but I believe this work, this 2-panel work, carries on what Wang Wei has input in his art, that is the love for nature, which I think well represents the life here in Victoria, where people love mountains, waters, gardens, and art, which I am greatly enjoying. So yeah, that is my sharing for today. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you all in the gallery.